Hey everyone, welcome to episode 6 of In Conversation with Divyam and Ayush. Our book for today is Made to Stick. And so let's get started about this book. So before we talk about this book, let me introduce what this book is all about. So this book talks us, as the title suggests, Made to Stick. This book tells us how to take ideas and make them live longer in people's mind, how to make ideas stick. And the entire book revolves around this acronym of success. And so let's expand on this acronym. The S stands for simple, which means keep your idea simple and keep it to the core to increase its stickiness. Then U, which means unexpected. Add an element of surprise to your ideas that will help fire up those lazy neurons and give the element of surprise. Let the idea stay longer. Then the next is C stands for concrete. So in your ideas, remove all the abstractions about that idea and include specific details so that that idea can live longer and get imparted in people's brain. So Divyam, what are the next three?
So the next C stands for credible. Establish the authority of your idea by giving some facts and making it credible from different sources. E stands for emotion. Emotion tells why idea matters. People buy emotions, not the product, I believe. And E and S, story. The why. People remember stories. They don't remember facts, but the stories and how it unfolded in their brains. So that's the success for you. And now let's talk about the curse of knowledge. Ayush, tell me which song this is.
Demons.
That was Happy Birthday for you. And in my brain, I was playing Happy Birthday, but it was for you, Demons. And because it's very hard for someone with a lot of knowledge to understand. Like it is, I think it is impossible to know how it feels without the knowledge that you have now.
Mhm.
And when you get the knowledge for the other, when you express it to the other person, it's very hard for you and you think that it is very basic, but for the other person, it's very extreme. And that's when ideas miss out. And that's when you cannot create an impact in others' lives.
Yeah. So I totally agree. The point that you said, even the research in neuroplasticity suggests that it is actually impossible. You cannot go back and forget something that you have actually learned. And so there was this point in the book that I think I might be suffering on this from the curse of knowledge. But this is the story where, so you might remember this, where the story of algebra, when so when teachers think about how to answer the question when students ask, why should we learn algebra, right? And so the teachers make this comment about you need to do this because you need to do this so that you can get a degree and so that you can get a high paying job. And I very strongly disagree with this. And so the alternate for this is to tell them that maths is beautiful and then talk about the abstractions of the world. And the author suggests against this because they think that you can, by telling them that you can get a degree or you can get a high paying job, you make it about them. And I have degrees in mathematical sciences. So maybe the curse of knowledge for me is that I believe the better way to do is to go through that abstraction route. It's difficult, I know, but that has to be the truth. You can never take shortcuts in something like this. Since I might be biased, what do you think? What's your opinion? Was that the right way for them to suggest that we should go in this route and take shortcuts?
I don't think so. I also disagree with the fact that there are no easy shortcuts, or don't do something because you have to do it. Do something because you love to do it, because you want to do it. And that's a very strong point. And why do we learn math? There was also another story that another professor told, like it's a mental exercise. It will help us improve our logics, which we could use in our personal lives. That is even not even related to math, but math is such a field which will help us improve our personal lives with bringing in different logics.
Right, and you will have to pay the dues someday, right? Like if you take
Yes.
shortcuts now, you'll pay the dues later.
Yeah. And one more important aspect I would like to elaborate now is on why stories are so important in making your ideas sticky. So I would like to bring upon a story to bring this point up. And there was this experiment in which a professor called some somewhere around 40 Stanford students who were, Stanford, as all of us know, they're like the geniuses. And they were they were the best orators in the Stanford University. And everyone came upon the stage and had to speak for a minute. And the other 39 had to write what their feedback was, and they had to give them a score. All of the 40 students did that. And then the professor showed them a documentary of something about 10 minutes. And after that, there was a rank list, right? Of the student who was number one, who was number two. And everyone was asked to write what points do you remember from their speeches, of what ideas do you remember from XYZ individuals. And it was very hard for everyone to remember. At max, people remember one or two ideas from everyone. But even the people who got low scores and who were low ranked, the people who told stories, the stories were remembered by everyone. Stories stick, but facts don't. And that's the very important aspect of storytelling. And yeah, so that's what I would like to say, why stories are important.
Yeah, so let me expand on that. So that's totally true. And there is scientific reasons for that. So as you know, my research and my work in computer science has been in artificial intelligence, machine learning, that kind of stuff. So at MIT, there was this professor, Patrick Winston. We recently lost him. He was one of the most well-known persons in artificial intelligence research. And he spent his entire life trying to make artificially intelligent systems that could tell stories. And so all these people have different ideas of what artificial intelligence is and what is the true test for AI, right? And Patrick strongly believed that what makes us fundamentally human, the very starting part about us, is that we have the ability to tell stories. We share so many common things with different kinds of animals, but no animal has this ability to compose facts into stories. And you might know this, that when we learn about facts, we have some schemas in our mind. But every time that we try to retell a story, we compose those facts. And over time, our stories also get distorted, right? And so, making it short, the basic underlying thing that we have to remember is that our brains automatically, over time, as situations happen, recompose those stories. And as we are talking about stickiness, what does this tell us? It tells us that when we recompose these stories, we automatically make our neural pathways stronger, and that makes the ideas sticky. So, and even sleep research shows that when we are even sleeping, we tell stories again and again. So that's like the most important reason why stories make ideas stickier.
And emotions are also very important. Because there was this one story, like people came to you and asked, like, there are so many individuals suffering in Africa, and would you like to donate? And there was a certain sum, and they averaged it out, and there was some $1.3 or something that every individual donated. But there was another group of tested people, and then they were asked, like, there is this girl XYZ, and she's suffering in Africa. Would you like to adapt her, and would you like to take responsibility of her? And the amount of donation increased. So when there is an emotional connect, we also like the idea, and that makes it stick.
Yeah. So there is like also so much. So we looked at, we also skipped some of the aspects of the success because they were very common sensible. Yeah. But we have to remember that these different aspects have this, they all reinforce each other in some way or other. So even if you look at the story of the emotional girl, when the donations increased, when you took one person, it was also a reason because it was a concrete story. If you tell, hey, there's this, these are the things going on in Africa, and please donate, you see half the donation, and the donation is more than double when you talk about a specific girl, because you put in the details. And when you put in those details, which comes to the point of concreteness, your mind makes stories, right? It composes those facts into a story, a narration, and then you get these vivid details. And then, so everything is related. And then that makes an emotional aspect, and then you are more obligated to donate, and you feel for that person. So everything gets connected.
Right. And at last, I would like to also point out how to make things unstick. Because at times in your companies, There are rumors about you, as there was a case of McDonald's. In 1980s, people used to say that McDonald's were serving worms in their burgers. And that was not the case. And it was very hard for people to believe it. And it was a very profound rumor. So one day CEO, after like years, one day CEO came up and said that, no, there are no worms because we cannot afford to put in worms. And that day changed everything. So you have to bring in more stickier stories to get out of rumors and to get out of negative publicity that you have.
Yeah. So on that point, it's also very tricky to assess when you want to do that and when you don't. I would say in most of the cases, you need to understand that sometimes your company, the better course of action is to not make a comment, because by doing that, even your silence speaks. So by doing that, you are showing to the world that your brand or your company is above what was communicated in the rumors. Yeah. But on the other hand, in this very, very strong example, this directly hit their brand value. They're trying to portray themselves as a very healthy, very safe fast food place. They pride themselves on their processes that they have established at McDonald's. And when someone attacks on the safety and on hiding things from the consumer, then it directly affects their brand. So you have to pick your battles and you have to decide what are the things that affects your brand and you should make a comment on. And then when you do decide that, hey, this is something against my brand and I do need to speak up, then you should exactly use what you said. Make a better story and then make an answer.
Right.
Okay, any more comments?
That's it, I think. That's it. That's the major gist of the book. Thank you so much for watching. Tell us down in comment section what was your favorite part of the book. And if you like the content, consider subscribing. For the next week, we are going to read the Checklist Manifesto. Thank you.
Thank you.